And you're welcome back to the Pulse. Now, a group of concerned drivers are warning that any attempt by government to reverse an imminent increase in transport fares will adversely impact their businesses. In 2 hours from now, the Transport Minister, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, would hold a dialogue with a coalition of transport operators over their latest proposal to charge some transport fares around 30% more. Now, ahead of that meeting, JoyNews has been engaging commuters on the likely surge in transport fares.
Okay, so definitely it's going to affect us because technically this year, most of us, our salaries were increased. So we are operating with the same budget. So 30%, it's on the higher side and definitely is going to affect us. So we will plead with the government if the other taxes on it, which can be taken out for us to be cushioned a little bit, could be done. It could help us a lot.
Walk a distance before they join the bus. Maybe if he's going to Kaneshi, some of them will manage to walk from here to Awudume. If he sees that he's tired, then from there, he will take their car. Some of them also buy bicycles for their children who are schooling, and other old people who are working as securities. They also manage to buy bicycles because the cost of transportation is too expensive. And looking at their salaries, it doesn't help them. So people find so many ways to come to work and live as well. So it affects our work. And our children are also schooling as well. So if you give 10 cedis as transportation for your child, you also have to give him 15 cedis or 20 cedis. And it is also affecting you too. So you are appealing to the government to do something about the fuel price. Instead of increasing the transportation fares, I think something should be done about the fuel prices.
I don't support it because at first if we were paying 1 cedi, we will pay 1 cedi 30 pesos, and that will affect us so much. It will affect us so much. So cost of goods, items will also increase, and it will affect everybody. So I don't support it at all.
Apart from chess, almost see, almost doing lorry fare no. I didn't know who can us up on because of lorry fare on to me. Be obey why any budget in Obedu station near because I told lorry fare so say this and idea was all on to me. Don't was I might so at the top for young tree.
Well, some anxious Ghanaians there, but we can now have a conversation on this matter. It's 4 o'clock exactly, which means that the Transport Minister will be engaging the coalition. But fortunately, we are having online now David Agbuado, who's with the Concerned Drivers Union. They'll be moving into that meeting with government shortly. Also joining me is the Member of Parliament for Adaklu and also a member ranking on the Roads and Transport Committee, Kwame Gavin-Zagboja. He is a Member of Parliament as well, and the Executive Director of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Duncan Amwa, is with us. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome to the program. So let me start off with David Agbuado, since you would be running into that meeting with the Transport Minister. You say that any attempt by government to reduce that 30% proposal you are making will not help your business. Why? Well, it appears that David has just gone off the line, obviously, for good reasons. We'll see what the fallout of that meeting will be. But let's start off with you, Kwame Gavin-Zagboja. Here we are. The drivers, first of all, are complaining that if you look at the tax component on petroleum products alone, about 12 of them, government would have to come through and deal with some of these challenges. It's not as though these levies are new. What's your policy suggestion, really, to government at this point, whilst they engage the drivers on the way forward regarding our transport fares?
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to my good friend Duncan on the line. First of all, that was quite a very educative interaction we had with professionals in the teaching industry. What I took away from that is suggesting that the way and manner we implemented the free SHS is actually very, very counterproductive for all of us. Let's assume the billions we spent is basically almost a waste since the products are very poor. But let's get back to the point of this. My brother, look at something. It appears almost on weekly basis, either the price of fuel on our market at the forecourts keep going up. I mean, last week we went through 7 cedi per liter. I mean, There's no doubt that in 2 months' time, we're going to break the 8, where prices of petroleum products may be more than 8 cedi per liter, which is a very serious one. But the driver who actually bears the brunt of this does not have any cushion at all. He's told that he should keep his prices that way. We also notice that you have a situation where the pound is over 9 Ghana cedi, the dollar is up.
Kwame Aguja, your line appears to be unstable at this point. We'll just rework the lines and get back to Kwame Governors Abuja. Also joining us is Duncan Amohis with the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Ghana. Duncan, if you can hear me, here we are today. Government says it will be engaging the coalition of transport operators. For you, what's your expectation going into this meeting, and what is it that you would appreciate government do to avert this imminent rise in transport fares? You would have to unmute for us so we can hear you.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Good afternoon to you. Yes, and to your viewers. We are a country that is clearly not learning anything. We've suggested the past 2 years a need to have a national transport policy. You cannot continue to have a transport sector. It doesn't work that way. And so convenience the most. Anytime, am I still on?
Yes, you're on. You're on air.
Yes. So anytime we want to increase fuel prices, we don't call them to the ministry for meetings. When, as a fallout or fallback from these increases, their cost of operations has gone up and they would need a little more to augment their operations, then we say they should come and sit with us to negotiate or discuss how much we are giving to them. But here are the facts. Fuel prices has gone up 4 different times within this very year. Cumulatively, you are doing about 14.4% increase just for the year, which is barely 2 months old. And then again, these prices are set to continue going up because the 3 key factors pushing these prices upwards, we've not dealt with any single one of them. You are dealing with a situation where international market prices continue to be very, very bullish. Prices are simply going up by the day because of tensions out there. Ukraine, Russia particularly, the uncertainty around that whole tension with them is also leaving a lot of Europe uncertain as to whether Russia will take a bad, step, and then sanctions would apply and they would not get their natural gas and whatever supplies they are also obtaining from Russia. Mind you, OPEC is also pushing that these economies that depend on petroleum exports are not waiting for their economies to crash like we saw in 2020 and we saw somewhere 2014, 2015. So OPEC has done its own cut. 10 million barrels have been taken out. At their last meeting and at the end of January, what they have added is 222,000 liters out of a cutback of 10 million. So outlook for the year 2022
we've lost Duncan there. Let's go back
very little we do about it as we are not with dealing with international market fluctuations or
it appears that we're still having some challenges there. Let's go back to Honorable Kwame Governors Abuja. Hopefully the lines have been restored now. So Honorable, you were making the point earlier about what approach government needs to take at this point to cushion the Ghanaians and also the transport operators. Honorable Kwame Gavins Abuja, if you could hear me, I was talking about the point you're making earlier, projecting some of the policy paths that government could adopt to cushion the consumers as well, and then the transport operators. Well, we'll have to, of course, wrap it up here. We'll of course, try as much as possible to redress all the connections for you.